Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Grind. Here's your host, JB.
Hey, thank you, Pierre. We've got another great episode lined up. We are going to have Coach JohnMark Bentley is going to join us in just a second, and we're also going to have Caleb Smith. But before we get to that, go ahead and give us a like, a share, a subscribe, a retweet, whatever it is that you follow us on. We would greatly appreciate that. Going to be a good episode. Got Coach and Caleb out there in Raleigh getting ready to join us and talk a little bit about the quad that we just had, and also talk a little bit about the NC State duel that's coming up tomorrow evening. Great opportunity for some great competition, so it should be a good show. But first, before we get started on that, I do want to say that last weekend was a little bit of a challenge for us at the quad, as some of you probably know, and we definitely apologize for that. As I said in a post or a statement that we made a couple of weeks ago, a lot of things led to it, and we hope that we've taken care of some of those issues to pick some things up and do a little bit better job next time. So definitely appreciate that. Appreciate the support and the words of encouragement from everybody that was there and everybody that chimed in during the struggles that we had last weekend, because it was as difficult as it was to keep up with us, it was pretty difficult on our end too. So but we're looking forward to getting back out there on the 17th. We'll be back in Varsity Gym, creating some more content for you. We'll probably be back on the 15th or the 16th, and we'll probably do the breakdown live from Varsity Gym again with Coach and whoever Coach may have that he wants to bring on. But had a great episode last night with Brian Reinhart from Pack Mentality Podcast, and I will post that after this, and I add it to this show and upload it to our podcast platforms as well, so you guys will be able to hear all of that. Dropped a little article today by Ryan Mitchell there on our Rockfin channel. If you haven't read that, go read that. Great article. Ryan kind of broke down the upcoming duel with NC State. Talked about some matches to look for, and talked about some expectations. So that'll be good. We also have another one keyed up for the morning. So if you're looking for content like that, check us out for sure on Rockfin. Rockfin has been our place. Sooner or later, that will be the place that we're focusing, the majority of our streaming to. So go check us out there. Great platform. A lot of wrestling content for anybody that's interested, all the way from grade school level all the way up through college, and some of the RTCs have some channels on there too. So go check that out. And without further ado, let's go check in with Coach. He's probably hanging out in a hotel room tonight. Coach, you looks like you might be hanging out in a hotel room somewhere in Raleigh tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Jeremy. We're originally scheduled to leave tomorrow morning and come down to Raleigh, but with all the inclement weather that was forecasted to come into the high country tonight, we thought it would be best to get our guys off the mountain and go ahead and get down to Raleigh tonight to make sure we missed the snow and didn't disrupt our dual meet that we have scheduled tomorrow night with NC State.
Yeah, Coach, if you waited to leave till in the morning, you'd probably need a snowplow on the front of that van you guys drive around, because it's going to get, it sounds like it's going to get real up here on the mountain this evening. I think they're calling for 6 to 8 inches of snow before the end of the day tomorrow. So it's a good thing you guys hit the road early. Get everybody checked in, team safe and sound, everybody probably eating a meal or getting ready to have a meal, and call it a night, huh?
Yeah, so we just got in a little bit ago. We took off this afternoon, came straight down, just got checked in our hotel here in Raleigh, and just had a meal catered here to the hotel, and our guys are eating it as we speak, and getting ready to get some shut-eye and get some rest for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's going to be good to see those guys competing again. So, Coach, let's kind of break this up like we usually do. Let's talk a little bit about the Appalachian Quad. Get your kind of feelings, your takes, your takeaways, some of the strengths and weaknesses that you've seen coming away from there, and then we'll talk about the upcoming matchup with NC State tomorrow night?
Yeah, so obviously it was good to be back on the back on the mat competing this past weekend at our individual quad we had. Even though one of the teams that was scheduled to previously come didn't make it, we were able to get a lot of quality matches with the University of Virginia and the Citadel. And I think for a lot of our guys, they got multiple matches, got down to weight for the first time. And, it was just good for us to kind of see, what are some areas of weakness that we have and, get our guys, used to that feeling of competition again. You can train as much as you want to, but it's just a different feeling when you step in that circle and it's a live competition against an opposition. So that was good. We had some bright spots, some young guys I thought wrestled real well. Some of our returners looked good, but we also had a lot of areas that we were exposed last weekend that we've got to improve on. And, so we went back to the practice room this week, had a great week of training. I think we hopefully fixed some mistakes, some areas that we're weak in. And, we'll be tested again tremendously this weekend, going against a team, NC State, which is, a very good program. And, it'll give us a great look at kind of where we're really at.
Yeah, it's we talked a little bit after the competition Saturday, and that seems to be kind of the tone or the takeaway from all of the competitions. To find out what the weaknesses has been exposed, and then try to drill those away. So it sounds like you guys had a good week to be able to do that. We've got head coach JohnMark Bentley. He warned me that the video or the Wi-Fi was a little bit slow there, so his video is going to lag a little bit, but we've still got a solid connection with the audio, so we're going to hang with this. Like us, share us. We're over here on Facebook. If you got a comment for Coach or the team or Caleb that's going to join us here in just a minute, feel free to pop on over here and we'll take it here. Coach, so it sounds like had a good turnout, like you said, for a lot of the guys. Obviously, seen some weaknesses within some other places. Some of the ones that stand out right away to me are those lightweight guys with Cody Russell and Caleb Smith. I mean, those guys come out swinging for that competition on Saturday. I think they both walked away undefeated with 4 wins apiece on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's probably the strongest weight class in our program right now is the 125-pound weight class. We got a lot of good guys at that weight, and unfortunately, there's only one spot to wrestle in most of these dual meets. So, but I think that competition is pushing both of them to, improve and continue developing. And I think Cody and Caleb both had very dominating performances last weekend. I'm pretty sure Cody went 3-0 as well as Caleb, and so it was good to see those. And, I'm excited to see them go at it again this coming weekend. They'll both get some matches, tomorrow night in the duel and, on some round robin matches on Saturday.
Yeah, that's to see Caleb step out there and come up with. I think he had the 3-0. There was a medical forfeiture that he had there in the fourth one or something like that. But to see him, you've talked about Caleb a lot already this season, talking about how much he was pushing Cody, and I think even made the comment that nothing's given, and Cody's got to work hard to get that starting position because Caleb is coming. And I think Caleb kind of proved that for himself on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. Cody Russell is doing a phenomenal job this year, and I think you're going to see him continue to get better and wrestle, better and better. You're going to see a better version of him each time he steps out on the mat, just simply because the weight adjustment for him, would be a little bit. It's going to take a little time. I mean, he's made the weight twice now. He's looked really good both times. I thought he looked better at the individual quad than he did in the inner squad, and I expect him to wrestle better tomorrow night than he's wrestled yet this year. He's doing a phenomenal job. I'm proud of him and his commitment, dedication, and I think he's going to really have an outstanding season. And then, you look at Caleb Smith, it's, right there nipping on his heels. And, Caleb's not taking a back seat to anybody. I feel confident, in either one of those guys. I think they're both great options for our program. Obviously, I wish that we could get both of them in the lineup this year. Just not sure if that's going to be able to happen. So, we're getting them as many matches and as many competitions as we can. And, I think both of those guys are well prepared, whoever we put out there.
Yeah. Brian from last night's show, Ryan Hart with the Pack Mentality podcast, commented on Cody Russell there and his move down to a weight class, and just spoke about how dominant he was at 133 and how impressive he's probably going to be at 125. So Cody definitely came out showing that Saturday. Coach, we don't have to go too far up that weight class before there's another name that stands out with Francis Morrissey at 149. Had a pretty dominating performance himself Saturday.
Yeah, he went 3-0 as well, and obviously in that scenario, he wrestled three opponents from two different schools. Which were both, all three of his matches were against, I think, other freshmen as well. So, we didn't get to see him against any other starters for the Citadel or UVA, but still, nonetheless, getting 3 wins in your first college debut was an outstanding feat. And, we're looking for him to continue developing and growing and getting better. He's going to be he's going to have a little stronger test this weekend. So we'll find out a little bit more where he's at.
Yeah. Obviously, we go up to the 174, and Thomas is taken off kind of where we expected him to, right? I don't think he's really missed much of a beat at the end of the season last year to where he's at this year. Went 3-0. Looked like he ran through it pretty easily. Not much, not really challenged in any sort of way or pushed, but it was another dominating performance from Flitz at the 174.
Yeah, Thomas wrestled well, and I think for him, he's another guy that just getting him matches, he's going to continue to get better and better. And, I think his confidence level is as high as it's ever been. But the thing that's impressed me the most in this off season and this early season is just the amount of work he's putting in. I mean, he's working at a level. His work output is so much higher than it's been in any year previous. And I think he's motivated, and I think now he realizes that he's got an opportunity to do some really special things here. And so been really proud of him and his work ethic and, the amount of time he's been putting in on the mat and in the weight room. And, excited to see him go at it again tomorrow night. And he's going to, just like all the guys, he's going to have a really tough opponent. And, one he's very familiar with, and one that they both have, with some history. And, he's got, a win over him. I think one win over him and, a couple of losses to him. So it'll be hopefully a match where he feels like he can go out there and prove something tomorrow night.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get to those guys. NC State. We've got head coach JohnMark Bentley. We're going to have Caleb Smith coming up here just shortly. Join us. Talk a little bit about his time at App State. Talk a little bit about the weekend and what he's looking forward to out of this season. Go ahead and like us. Give us a retweet, tag somebody that may be interested in watching, and we'll keep going here. We're here on Facebook as well and on Rockfin. So if you want to chime in for Coach, have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to chime in over here on Facebook. Coach, the Friday, tomorrow evening, got an opponent, and I said this when I talked to Brian yesterday. I don't know, I definitely am not on Hank's level. But looking real quick through the media guide, NC State is a team that I would say is you guys have faced more than any other team outside of the conference. I mean, I think I added it up, and you guys had 14 duels against NC State.
Yeah, I mean, we've wrestled NC State every year in a duel, I think, since I've been the head coach here at App. And, every year it's a true test. I mean, they've been ranked in the top 5 of the country, I think, the last 3 meetings where we've wrestled them in a dual meet, and it's no different this year. They got a really good team and a really senior heavy team. I think you mentioned they had 5 seniors in their starting lineup, and but at the same time, we're expecting to show up and compete hard, and we're not going to back down, and it'll be a great test for all of our guys. I think our guys are excited and up for the challenge.
Yeah, we posted an article today there on Rockfin that kind of outlined the matchups that we anticipate seeing tomorrow. Obviously, there could be some changes to that lineup on either side because there are already some bumps and bruises on both programs. But it's definitely I think I told you in the beginning. It seems like we're hitting these guys almost at a peak. I think, like I said, Brian told me yesterday, they've got 5 returning seniors and they're ranked, in the top 5 in all of the rankings. So hitting a team that seems to be at a peak, they're not too far off from a new coach, and this guy seems to have them in stride. And they've obviously got the benefit of an RTC there in Raleigh to help with their training and further in the program. But good organization. It sounds like we've got some great matchups coming out of that as well. And it obviously, it kind of starts at the 125. I mean, Cody Russell's coming in anywhere in the top 20 and facing Camacho over there that's in the top 10 as well. And they've got a little bit of common opponents, but it's definitely going to be an opportunity for Cody to get to see where he stands in this season.
Yeah, I mean, every one of our guys have got to be ready to go tomorrow night. And you look at State's program. I mean, they're very they're a very, well-balanced program. I mean, they've got ranked guys all the way up and down their lineup. There's not really any holes in their team. And so, wins don't come easy against them. So you got to go out and earn those wins. And, we're not paying attention to what the rankings are. We know they're good. We don't care what people have them ranked or anything like that. But weight by weight, the biggest thing for us is making sure that we show up ready to fight. And if we show up ready to fight, I think we can compete with them, well in a lot of those weight classes. But make no mistake about it, if we don't show up, we get it handed to us as well. So we've got to make sure that our guys are up for the fight and ready to bring it and lay it on the line. And I think if they are, I think we might surprise them. So.
Yeah, I will tell you, Ryan Mitchell's been writing for us a little bit, writes with some other programs as well. He's got an article that's getting ready to drop on Rockfin in the morning. It's kind of like the roadmap of how App can get it done tomorrow. And I will tell you, when I first seen it, I was like, I can't wait to read this because I got to see what he says. After reading it, this could be a pretty good matchup for both teams. I mean, there is definitely a roadmap there. Fortunately, it's one of those situations where you've got to have some things that swing our way and that sort of thing. But, man, some of these kids have faced these guys before. I mean, some of these high-powered guys that are on NC State, some of our guys have got some recent wins on them. So it's definitely not out of the question that we could see some high-powered competition out there and see our guys walk away with some, on paper upsets. So I will tell you, there's a lot of those weight classes. I know it seems like stretch looking at it on paper from a fan point of view, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you wrestle the match. If you're only going to, wrestle up to what the rankings say, then then why show up? Why come down here and wrestle? You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
we're not going to take a back seat to anybody. I think our guys are well prepared. We know what the test is in front of us. We know they're good. We know that they've got a great program. They're well coached. They're very disciplined, and we know all those things. But at the same time, we feel pretty good about where our team's at. And where our program's at, and our guys wrestle with a lot of pride. And we're not going to back down. And I think our guys know. That the biggest thing is we got to show up and be ready to fight. If we're ready to fight, we might be able to capitalize on some opportunities. But if we don't fight and we're not ready for the battle at hand, if we get caught up in thinking too much about rankings or favorites and this and that, then we're not going to be ready to go. And, I tell our guys that's why you wrestle the match, and if the rankings, always determine the matches, then there'd be no reason to wrestle them.
Yeah.
So, that's what our guys, have been, kind of drilled in their head. And, I had a good look at our guys just a few minutes ago when they were getting their dinner. And I think they're excited and ready for this challenge. So.
Yeah, the one that stands out to me the most, and we talked about him just a minute ago, is that 174. These Flitz has, if Bullard comes, if he shows and Flitz steps on the match, these guys have five other matches together against each other. So this is one of those matchups that and Flitz has got to win against him. So I'm definitely looking forward to some of these individual matchups as we've highlighted and said. These guys. North Carolina State's a common opponent. I mean, these guys step up to the plate. You guys are there. They're up here in Boone on a pretty regular basis. So there's definitely some history with some of our wrestlers with some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got some history with a lot of their wrestlers, and we're familiar with them. They're familiar with us, and we're in the same state, and obviously there's some competitiveness there. I mean, obviously we've got a little bit of a rivalry just because it's in the state, but there's a lot of good matchups. I mean, obviously you mentioned at 174, that's a matchup that we are excited about, and it's another great opportunity for Thomas Flitz. And but there's many others that I could go through the lineup and say, okay, we're excited about this matchup. We know it, and the few matches we're favored, we know we got to be ready to wrestle in those too. I mean, it's not like that, if we're favored in a match or two that we think that it's going to be an easy win. I mean, it's, we're only going to get what we earn tomorrow night. That's just the way it is. There's going to be nothing easily given. There's going to be no easy wins to be had. And, if we're not ready to show up and fight for it and earn it, then, then that's not going to, turn out very well. So we've got to be ready to earn it. We can't expect anything to come easy tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely going to be a good opponent, one of those common ones. I wished it was happening here in Boone, but we'll be watching from the ACC Network Plus, and that's anybody will be able to watch that on where they watch ESPN or ESPN Plus. You'll be able to check it out there. Coach, let's talk a little bit about Saturday. It sounds like you guys are going to stay overnight again tomorrow, get some back-to-back weigh-ins, as Brian called it, something a little bit unusual, but something that some of these guys could be facing in the later season. What's expected out of the team, and what's the plan for Saturday?
Yeah, so this weekend, we're using it to obviously get some really good competition, but also to have a 2-day consecutive weigh-in. Which, this will be the only opportunity to do that before the NCAA tournament in March. Typically this time of year in early January, we wrestle in the Southern Scuffle. And so a lot of our guys get that experience of actually having to compete hard, wrestle at a high level, and make weight 2 days in a row. And this year, with COVID and the way the schedule's worked out, this is really kind of our only opportunity to do that. And so we're going to wrestle a duel tomorrow night, spend the night here in Raleigh again tomorrow night, and then get our guys up and make weight again. We brought like 23 guys on the trip, so we'll weigh in all 23 guys, and then those 23 guys will get multiple matches against NC State's roster. They've got 2 or 3 deep in every weight, and we're bringing 2 or 3 deep in most weights. So, we'll get some round robin matches, get multiple matches after a Saturday morning weigh-in. So.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're going to get in a few matches, up to maybe 3 or 4 on that weekend or that whole stretch there in Raleigh. Coach, I checked with Brian, and just so the viewers know, ACC Network Plus tomorrow, they're not streaming any of the competition on Saturday, but we'll be able to watch the duel on Friday night. Coach, we're getting ready to talk to Caleb Smith. What can you tell us about Caleb in the short time that he's been at App so far?
Well, I don't know where to start. There's so many great things I could say about Caleb as a young man. I mean, he's just – he's every coach's dream. You know what I mean? I mean, he does all the right things. He pours his heart into the sport. And, not just from his training, but just how disciplined he is, how diligent he is about wanting to come in and go over film with the coaches, and his nutrition. He's really made a tremendous gain in his nutrition over the last, 3 to 4 months. And, he's just an all around great student athlete, a great young man that really represents our program in the way that I like for our guys to represent it. He's an outstanding student. He is a great person. If you meet him out here on the street, he represents our program very, very well. And I'd say he's one of the hardest workers in our program. And I'm big on that, Jeremy. I mean, I really pride myself in the work and the our guys, train and wrestle and represent our program, and he just epitomizes that. And he's very young too. I mean, he's got a lot of years left, and he's really already had some pretty remarkable performances. He placed at the Southern Scuffle last year as a true freshman, and last weekend he went undefeated, as we mentioned, but he wrestled a wrestler from Virginia that he had lost to the two previous meetings and won that bout last weekend. Wrestled a kid from the Citadel that a year ago, I think he was in a dogfight, maybe won a 1-point match over the kid, and really kind of, dominated the kid last weekend. So I think it shows that he's making tremendous jumps. And, I'm really excited about his future and his career here. He's just a pleasure to coach, and just a great young man to be around and get to know.
So, Coach, I do have to ask. I wouldn't normally put you on the spot like this, but I'm going to ask you tonight. I noticed Sean Carter was a little bit banged up at the 133 on Saturday. Any chance we see Caleb at 133 tomorrow night?
No. Sean's healthy. He's ready to go. He's looked great training this week. No, I fully expect that Sean will be our guy tomorrow night at 133. That's kind of what the plan is.
All right. Awesome. I had to ask. I know there's been some other conversation with some other people. So, yeah. All right, Coach, I definitely appreciate your time tonight. I'm not going to take up too much of your time tonight. Looking forward to watching you guys compete at, 7:30. What time is that? 7, let me check.
7 p.m. duel. Yep.
7 p.m. NC State on the ACC network. Coach, you got anything you want to put out? Any parting shots before you go?
No. We're just excited to get another opportunity to compete tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to having you guys back in Boone on the 17th for the start of the SoCon.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. It's been good talking to Coach JohnMark Bentley while he's there in the hotel room in Raleigh getting ready to face NC State tomorrow night. And in just a second, we'll jump over to Caleb Smith and bring him in and have a conversation with him. But before we do, again, give us a retweet, share us on Facebook. We do have the chat up, and I'm sorry I missed this one again. I think it must be, Sava's chiming in, says, ask Coach if he is going to miss the NC State heckler. So, Coach, if you're listening, if you can chime in on the chat. Sava's wanting to know if you're going to miss the NC State heckler. So he had made a comment about that earlier. And Miss Gagne chimes in and says, Caleb is an awesome young man on and off the mat. Yes, from everything that I've heard from everybody in the short interactions that we've had there in Varsity Gym, he's definitely well liked by everybody he comes across. We're looking forward to getting him on. Rockfin, we're on Rockfin. Go over there and follow us there. Retweet us before we bring on Caleb on here on the Twitter. So let's go check in with Caleb and see if he's hanging tight. Caleb, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome, man. How was your trip down the mountain? It wasn't too bad of a ride. Coach LeBlanc's no longer driving, so it probably wasn't too bad.
No, it was a good ride.
Who's the van driver now that LeBlanc and Rose is gone?
Coach Diabe, Coach Miller, and Coach DJ.
Oh, Diabe's the driver now. Huh? That's going to be an interesting conversation. I'll have to ask him about that. How is Coach Diabe's driving compared to Rosa and LeBlanc's?
He gets the job done, and he has the best music, so I enjoy it.
he gets the job done. That's about the best you can say. That's playlist is always important for sure. So Caleb, Saturday was good, man. You had to come away from Saturday feeling good. Coach talked a little bit about your performance Saturday. That had to step up the confidence level a little bit for you coming out of that competition, huh?
Yeah, that definitely made me feel good about myself. I lost to two of the previous guys before, so being able to go out there and compete, get the job done, that definitely made me feel good about myself and my training.
Yeah, man. I will tell you that I think just about almost every conversation that Coach JohnMark and I have, Caleb's name is mentioned. Caleb and Cody, when you get two guys that are competing at that level that are training partners, the opportunity and the progress that you guys can make in that wrestling room is pretty big. So I know that had to feel good, not only for you, but for Cody, kind of being that guy for so many years and really being your training partner to be able to see you compete at that level as well.
Oh yeah, because we train together and we push each other all the time. We run a sprint, seeing who can get the best of each other that day, and wherever I succeed, he succeeds. Wherever he succeeds, it's part of me too. So it felt good on both ends.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's good to see you out there, and definitely going to be good to hear from how you do on Saturday there in Raleigh as well. So let's talk a little bit about your time here in Boone. What attracted you to App State in the beginning?
I believe it was my 8th grade summer. I went to camp here, team camp, with my high school, and I saw the guys. Seemed like a family. Like everybody was so close to each other, just joking around. But whenever they went to practice, like they got after it. And I told myself, I was like, I want to be one of these guys. I want to be in the Division I level, and I want to be able to win national championships at home. And this just seemed like the place where I could do it.
Yeah, you are a homegrown wrestler as well, and as you know, I mean, I'm sure you're very well aware that Coach JohnMark prides himself in picking out these guys out of North Carolina. When did you start? I don't want to get too far into kind of your Beyond the Mat episode that we will do with you eventually in a few years, but when did you start wrestling?
I started in 7th grade.
That
Yeah,
seems to be the
it was,
common story. 7th, 8th grade seems to be the common story with all the North Carolina wrestlers. What was your what pushed you to step on the mat and try wrestling?
well, I was playing football, and one of my friends, he's like, Caleb, have you ever thought about wrestling? I was like, I don't even know what that is. Is it WWE? Because I watched WWE at the time. But turns out it wasn't. And he told me he had another friend. He was like, I'll be y'all's football manager if you try out for wrestling. And I was like, you know what? I like you. You're pretty cool. So why not? And ever since then, I kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, that seems to be the story with a lot of North Carolina kids. Football usually ends up being the one that pushes them over, and they just kind of figure out that that's what they're really good at. So that's good. Camp, you talk about kind of the camp experience, right? Because I think that's one thing that we hear a lot about, and I know that's definitely one thing that JohnMark and the staff is proud of is the wrestling camps for the junior athletes that come up here and participate in it. Talk a little bit about your experience as a camper.
Whenever I was younger, it was really fun being at a Division I school and being able to see like the moves that they do or moves that I'm learning. So they got to work, like seeing how their technique could be implemented into my wrestling, make me a better wrestler. And then growing older, it became like more like a family because I started getting to know the guys. They would joke around with me, made me feel like like I was one of them. And I think that's really what made me want to come here. 'Cause, when you have somebody who's older than you and you look up to them and they treat you just like one of them with respect and they have good hospitality, it's just some amazing. So that was definitely something that influenced me.
Nice. Yeah, it's always good to hear the stories and the experience from the campers when they come up and participate in those camps. We got Caleb Smith from Appalachian State Wrestling is going to joining us tonight. It's going to be a good Friday for the starting ones out there tomorrow night. Doesn't sound like you're going to be in that starting group this time. But it's got to be exciting for you to be able to be a part of a program that's going to face NC State that's literally right in your back door from where you grew up.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited to see everybody compete tomorrow. We've put in the work and the numbers, all that stuff. It doesn't really matter. I feel like our team's going to come out there and we're going to shock a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see us get after it.
Yeah, and that's definitely kind of the Appalachian spirit, right? We go to face a lot of bigger schools very often, and, you never go in there with the anticipation that you're not going to win it. Kind of that spirit of going in there that we're going to, you're going to do your best, and how it falls is going to be how it falls. So that's a good mindset to have, and obviously they don't win them all. I mean, there's plenty of wins in Appalachian State's column in that duel. So to go in there with the expectation that this is something that you can't win is definitely a little bit far fetched, because that team can be taken down, and definitely there's definitely a way to do that, and it could play out to be that way, especially with a lot of the high speed guys and those senior guys that we have on our squad. Some of those guys can go out there and rack up some points. So NC State's got a good team, but I will tell you, and Brian told us yesterday, they're not going to take us lightly. I can promise you that. They've been defeated and upset by Appalachian State a few times. They're not going to take us lightly. So it's got to be in those type of in these type of duels that you're kind of on the back seat of it. What is that? What's the experience like as far as developing as a wrestler? What is some of the experiences that you take away? Kind of seeing the starters out there competing. Do you still go through the motions of weight cut? Do you still do all of that stuff as maybe not the first guy that's going to step on the mat, but maybe, one of the guys could wake up in the morning and have a really bad day and end up not starting. It might have to be your call. So do you go through all of the routine of, I can't eat pizza the night before, you got to make sure that I make weight the next day. And do you go through all of those routines like a starter would?
Yeah, so being somebody that the next guy up, that's what we preach around here. I'm out there like tonight. I'm trying to get a good amount of sleep and wake up, and I'm still ready to compete, whether or not it really happens. In my mind, I have to act like it's gonna happen, and I have to put myself there. So whenever I do get there in the future, it won't be a shock to me. It won't be a big moment. It'll just be a regular match. So I'm gonna have to still make weight and warm up with the starters, treat it like a real match, and just be mentally there, ready to support the team, whether or not I'm wrestling or not, and just be ready for the future.
It's probably where the term "the grind" comes from, right? Because that can happen for a long time for a lot of people, and some people that's all they do. There's a big percentage of Division I wrestlers that never make the starting lineup. So, we talk about those guys, and they're training partners for some great wrestlers, but that's got to be part of what you guys feel is the grind, is just making sure you're always ready for when that call up comes. And I will tell you, I think your performance has proven itself. It's probably not going to be as long as you think it's going to be before you get that call up and able to step into that starting role at some point.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. The day it does happen, but until then, I'm ready to support my team and get these dubs.
Yes, sir. Well, we're definitely looking forward to watching Appalachian State compete tomorrow against NC State down there in Raleigh. All right, Caleb, we know you a little bit about as a wrestler for Appalachian State. Now let's talk about Caleb Smith and what he likes about Boone and the surrounding areas of App State. Caleb, what's the best burger in town?
Oh, that's actually a really good one. Let's say I'm probably gonna have to say I like McAdoo's a lot.
McAdoo's.
So I'm probably gonna say McAdoo's.
McAdoo's is popular amongst the team.
Yeah, they're good, real good.
And if I recall right, I think Cody Russell's a McAdoo's guy as well. So is that like a lightweight guy? The guys that are really light that got to watch their weight end up at McAdoo's often, it must be.
Yeah, I guess so. The only bad thing is they know how to put the weight on you.
Oh, yeah. You can't eat too many of those cinnamon buns, that's for sure.
No, that's the best part.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely know that. So McAdoo's is the burger. Is there a particular burger there at McAdoo's that you'll order if you're going to grab a burger?
Not really. I like any of them, but what I really like about McAdoo's is probably their tater tots. They have the best tater tots in town.
Oh, nice. I don't know that I've tried their tater tots, but I'm going to have to try them now for sure. So McAdoo's is the tater tot spot. Let's see what's next. Pizza. What is the pizza joint in town that people would find Caleb Smith enjoying a pie at?
Um, Probably at what's that place called? Mellow Mushroom. I like the
Uh,
barbecue chicken pizza or the buffalo chicken pizza. That's my favorite.
yeah, the buffalo chicken pizza is pretty good as well. They've got a new pizza now. It's like the Wild Havana. Have you tried that one yet? The pork. It's like a Cuban. It's a take on a Cuban sandwich. Have you tried that one yet?
I have not, but it does sound good.
If you do you like Cuban sandwiches like the pulled pork with the pickles and the mustard and man,
Yeah.
if you like a Cuban sandwich, the next time you go there, get yourself one of them Wild Havanas. Wow. We've got one just down the road here in Blowing Rock. I got to be careful because I'll find myself over there a little bit too often. But check that out the next time you get a chance. Yeah, the buffalo pizza, the barbecue pizza, or the barbecue chicken one. That's those are solid choices there as well. Caleb, are you a coffee drinker? Has the coaching staff turned you into a coffee drinker yet?
Wasn't last year, but this year I do drink coffee pretty frequently.
Uh-oh. Are you following in John Mark's shoes and chasing the Duncan train, or are you like something else? What's your coffee spot in town?
Probably Stick Boy. I like Stick Boy a lot, or maybe Starbucks. If I go to Stick Boy, probably gonna get like a Frappuccino
Mm,
because they have really good Frappuccino or iced coffee. Big iced coffee guy.
iced coffee guy. You can't get none of those sticky buns at Sticky Boy though.
I have before though. They were very good.
Yeah, yeah, they make some good food too as well. So the coffee's pretty good there, and definitely the pastries that they have at Stick Boy is phenomenal as well. Great place to have a coffee and grab a Danish or whatever it may be that you're looking for. And it's not too far from campus, so
Yeah.
it's a pretty easy stroll. What are some of your other favorite spots to eat, drink, whatever it may be in Boone? What are some other spots that we don't know about yet?
They have Hershey's ice cream on King Street. That's probably like a hidden gem that most people don't go to.
Yeah,
I think it's the best thing in the world. I like to
really
get like cotton candy ice cream from there or cookies and cream. Not really
nice.
big on Ben and Jerry's. I like Ben and Jerry's, but it's Hershey's and Ben and Jerry's. I'd say Hershey's is up here. Ben and Jerry's is kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I think I asked the ice cream question like twice, and I kind of got the nose and the air kind of look like I can't do ice cream because I'm always cutting weight. So I'm kind of surprised that you mentioned an ice cream place.
yeah. Well, usually it's like right after a tournament or right after I make weight. Sometimes I'll reward myself. It just depends.
Yeah. So 125, the 125 weight class for a Division One wrestler has got to be tough. Period. Right? You got to be a pretty small guy at your age to make that weight. Is it a tough weight for you to maintain? Do you work hard at maintaining that weight?
Yeah, I try to be on top of my nutrition. That's probably the main thing. If your nutrition's good, it's not as hard. Last year, I kind of didn't do it the right way. I struggled. Cheeks all be blown up, and then they get like really, really skinny. So I probably try to focus on my nutrition. That helps out a lot.
Yeah, Yeah. You definitely have a different physique this season, seeing you on the mat than what you did last season. So you can definitely tell that you're putting in work, and looks like you're focusing a little bit more on that. So that's got to be good, and it's got to be for you guys that are cutting that weight and trying to maintain that weight. I think the one thing that we've learned talking to a lot of the alumni is, if their nutrition isn't right, their performance is horrible. So getting that nutrition dialed in has got to be huge for you. If nothing more, that could be a big part of your performance boost going into the seasons is getting that nutrition right. There's been a lot of guys. I mean, we've talked to some guys that were all Americans for the program and have said, man, the years that my nutrition was off, they were horrible. But as soon as they could get that nutrition dialed in, they started to see those years where their All-American status came in, into a reality. So that's got to be a big feeling for you, especially to realize that early, like right after your true freshman year, to realize, hey, I've got to get control of this, or it's going to be a problem. So kudos to you for realizing that early.
Yeah, thank you.
So what are some things you enjoy doing in Boone? What's some of the things? Obviously, Boone has a lot to offer, right? Especially if you're an outdoor person. I mean, there's hiking, there's camping, there's backpacking, there's fishing, there's kayaking, skiing. What's some things that Caleb can be found doing when he's not training in the varsity gym, which isn't too often, because wrestling program, I will tell you guys, if you don't keep up with what the wrestling program does, their season doesn't stop. I mean, they have a competition where their conference competition is going, but they never stop training ever. I mean, it is go, and you're going from month to month to month, and always something. Freestyle, folk style, a lot of different tournaments that you guys are doing. But when you're not in that varsity gym or the wrestling room, what is it that Caleb can be found doing?
I like to go hiking a lot. I like to see the sights, and I like to look at the sunsets. That's probably my favorite thing to do in Boone. Just look at the sunsets on the mountains, or even just during the day where it's not like crazy cloudy. Just being able to see the views. That's probably my favorite thing. Then I also like going to like the river, or go cliff jumping. I wasn't into it that much when I first tried it, because it's scary when you first do it. It really is. But my friends challenged me and hanging out with them. So me doing that's probably second favorite thing to do: cliff jumping, swimming.
Yeah, and there's plenty of those holes up here in Boone. Always some good watering holes, some good swimming pools, especially around the creeks and the rivers around Boone. And I will say, there's a place to watch a beautiful sunset everywhere you turn. I mean, it's one of those things where you're driving down the road and you've got to pull over to stop to watch it. Definitely in the right place for that. And obviously right here in your backyard. I mean, you're born and raised just a few miles down the road. So got to be good to be able to compete like that in your backyard and be able to enjoy the things that you enjoy here in Boone right here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Caleb, we're not going to keep you too much longer because you guys got a big night of competition tomorrow. Definitely appreciate your time. I'm going to try to keep it short so we can get Brian Reinhardt's episode on here as well. Caleb, definitely appreciate your time. We look forward to keeping up with your progress on this team. I will tell you, I'm definitely, every time you step out on the mat, I'm excited to see what you're going to do to your opponent, because it is going to be it's going to be pretty brutal for them.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, we're looking forward to, if we don't see you tomorrow night, we're looking forward to being able to see you again. Definitely appreciate your time, Caleb, and good luck, whether it's tomorrow night or Saturday in the round robin. Good luck, and can't wait to hear about your success this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime, man. Look forward to seeing you back in varsity gym soon.
Likewise.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Hey, another great episode. I will tell you, it's my favorite part is to be able to talk to the student athletes. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of joy that comes out of doing what we do here at the Grind. But talking to our student athletes is number one for me, without a doubt. The best part about it, learning what these guys enjoy about Boone and their experiences, is a highlight for me. For anybody that's going to listen on the podcast, we are going to butt Brian Reinhardt's episode right up to this one. So we're going to cut from here on the podcast and go talk to Brian Reinhardt, get his take on the duel coming up tomorrow at NC State at 7 p.m. Again, you'll be able to watch it on the ACC Network Plus. You'll be able to stream that. So appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your support. If you will, go subscribe or follow us on Rockfin. It'll be good to have you there. Pretty soon, that's where the majority of our content will go. Even our streams, our free streams will be going there. And it is free. These episodes are free on Rockfin. If you're a subscriber, it really doesn't matter, but we stream all of this type of content free to Rockfin, and pretty soon that'll be where the majority of it goes. So appreciate your support. Looking forward to seeing our guys compete tomorrow at NC State. Looking forward to following that and keeping up with those guys. Wish I could make it out there. I had the opportunity to go out there and be a part of it and watch them, but like Coach said, the weather's supposed to be pretty nasty up here. So not going to risk it. A little bit late getting out of work this evening anyways, and just not going to be able to make it. Appreciate your support. Look forward to being back with you next week as we catch up with Coach and we'll have another student athlete, I'm sure, getting ready to talk about the SoCon competition coming up. Have a great night. Appreciate you tuning in.
This has been a production by Yosef Media.